Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! On Saturday last week, young musicians had the opportunity to earn badges, bronze and silver. Both me and Karen took an exam each. I did silver and she did bronze. I did not see her there, not that I expected it, since my exam was in the afternoon and hers was at 8 o'clock in the morning or something. Later in the evening, our youth leader approached me and congratulated me for passing with a very good score, and asked me if I knew something about Karen's grade. I told him I didn't, and he looked at me with a frown. This is what he said to me. You know, normally all the people competing call me afterwards, but since I know you don't like to call, I thought I'd just ask you now. Karen's teacher told me over and over again that she would not sign the form needed to enter, but in the end, her mother made her do it. She gave in, so I was very curious if she passed or not. I was skeptical as to why he would tell me that, but I didn't give it any more thought and enjoyed my evening. On Wednesday, yesterday to be exact, I went to rehearsal for the concert we have on Friday. I had my earphones plugged in, which I normally do not do, but the moment I entered the rehearsal room, everyone went quiet immediately. It took me a minute to actually notice and look up. I asked him why they were staring at me like that when our chairman approached me and put a hand on my shoulder. I asked, "Did someone die?" Seriously, that was the first thing that came to my mind. The chairman says, No, it's just Karen and her entitled mother are here." Why? He sighed really heavily and everyone else pretended to be really busy, but I knew that they were eavesdropping. Incorrigible gossip. You know, since Karen passed the exam on Saturday and now has a bronze badge, her mother wanted her to join the concert band again. I know what you want to say, but we don't want to start a war or something like that. They are currently discussing matters with our band director, but I wanted to talk to you first since they harassed you during the last few rehearsals before the Easter concert. So, what do you say? I tell him, I was never fond of the idea of her joining and I'm still not happy about how things have been. Earning a badge doesn't naturally make her a better flutist and much less a better person. But if she's willing to learn and take advice if someone tells her she's wrong, I will not make a fuss about it. Well, thank you so much, I owe you something. Not really happy about that news, I sat down on my chair and started preparing by playing a piece that was lying around. I did my part with skills, I hate them and never want to play them again. I managed to play 5 notes when our band director, the entitled mother and Karen exit the conference room, and I immediately feel the entitled mother's hateful stare on me. Unfortunately, my 2 friends couldn't make it to rehearsal that day, leaving me completely on my own. The band director says, You're already here. Good. I guess you and the chairman already discussed matters. I just nodded. He adds, Well, I tried to reason with those 2 for the last 30 minutes. Listen, the entitled mother is convinced that Karen deserves to play first chair since she did so well in the exam on Saturday. Which was a lie, by the way, she barely passed. Don't worry, you don't have to give up your parts nor your chair, but I have to ask you both to play a piece at the end of the rehearsal to see who deserves to have the first chair. Is that alright for you? I was already laughing inside because I know this will go on Reddit. Of course, no problem. There you have it. My daughter plays so much better than you, and she will prove it later on. I hope you're the one who will get kicked out then. My daughter did not deserve to be treated like that. Yeah, whatever. Leave me alone. To prevent the entitled mother from harassing me again, the band director told her to go and come back in later to listen to her daughter if she insisted. She left with a smug grin, but I was already done with her nonsense and just wanted to get this over with. During the rehearsal, she played as bad as usual. It was a tragedy, honestly. My heart hurts when someone mistreats an instrument like that. We also played the piece with my solo part and she had the audacity to play along. The band director told her off and started over, much to everyone's amusement. After nearly 2 hours of me resisting the urge to strangle Karen, it was finally over. Just as the band director handed us a sheet we will be playing from, the entitled mother came back with the smuggest look on her face. The band director says, "Alright, who wants to begin?" The entitled mother says, "I think she should begin, since she thinks she can beat Karen, since she thinks she can beat my daughter. So my dear daughter can show everyone just how amazing she is in comparison to you." Well, if that's what you want. So I started playing. The piece was not specifically hard and I played it before a few times, but the part for solo flute is very tricky if you don't know how to play certain notes. And don't ask me what's it called, the title was cut off and I honestly don't remember the composer. But overall, it is a regular silver leveled piece. And that level is required as a first year player. Yes, I did make my silver badge only last week, but I proved my skills and everyone was okay with me being first year. After I finished, it was Karen's turn, but before she could start, the entitled mother demanded my flute again. "You should let my baby play on your flute to make it fair." What? No. "But your flute is a better one and has a better sound. If she plays with her one, she will sound less good, and that will be unfair. Give her your flute." I told you once and I'll tell you again. Keep your hands off my flute. Buy her a better one if you think that's the problem. And if you try to grab it, I will hurt you. I kept my flute in my hand and glared at the entitled mother, and before she could say anything else, the band director told Karen to start playing. And what shall I say? I wished I had recorded that. Those were the most embarrassing 5 minutes in my entire life. Karen made a complete and utter fool of herself, trying to finger her way through all those parts, not managing to get a single note right. She was completely out of tune as always. She missed the B flat all the time, playing B instead, and she ruined the solo part like a champion. Really, it requires skill to mess up like that. After she ended, her mother jumped from her chair and ran to her daughter. "My baby was just nervous. She plays much better when she isn't put in a situation like this." Well, this isn't nervousness. She just proved that she doesn't belong in a concert band. Internally, I thought, she just proved that she should never touch a flute again. The entitled mother starts whining like a 5-year-old. "This is not fair. They were not playing under the same conditions. My daughter is a much better player than she is." She points at me. "I demand that my daughter gets the first chair immediately." The band director was like 100% done with her. Of course, they are not playing under the same conditions. She is double her age and has so much more experience. There is a reason why she has a silver badge now. Please, just leave. And never ask for her to come back again. We have heard everything we needed. And do not ever harass this lady here again. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I got rid of Karen and her daughter. A few hours ago, my aunt called my mother about something that happened today. Her pissed-off woman voice could be heard across the room. I was curious what happened. Worried something bad would happen as I've never heard her so angry. And I asked my mom to put her on speakerphone. The following story she told us is parallel to a situation my mother and I went through when I was very young. Here is how it began. Early this morning, Aunt, age 52, and her daughter, age 9, went to the store to pick up baking supplies for my cousin to make her first gingerbread house. Cousin had always wanted to make one and was inspired when I shared photos of the holiday goodies I made. I told her it's more fun to make food from scratch, and they just taste better, and she wanted to give it a try. That was her plan for this weekend. Cousin and aunt went to Dollar Tree for candy, since they could get way more for way less than their local grocery for the Go brand name stuff. They had most of the ingredients at home, so they didn't need much. Being the holiday season, they were in line for quite a while. Cousin bounced with excitement, saying how she couldn't wait to get started on a gingerbread house and make it so cute. There was a white woman in the line behind them. My aunt assumed she was 40-something whose outfit said she could buy anything at full price and still afford her bills for the months. She said with a big smile, "Your daughter has such pretty hair." One thing about the women in my family, we all have great hair because we take care of it. It's thick, healthy, and beautiful. And we take pride in it. We all stopped using relaxers before cousin was even born, so it was 100% pure African American hair. It's a lot of work, but the payoff is worth it. Cousin loves getting her hair styled. Today's style was 2 twists over her head like a headband, butterfly clips and matching bubble balls around 4 separate, evenly parted twists with flower barrettes on the ends. It was windy where they lived, so Auntie also gelled her hair down and thanked the woman for the compliment, and cousin was shy around strangers, and she inched forward, feeling uneasy as a woman was not on a 6-foot marker on a floor separating them. While Aunt started loading their things onto the conveyor belt, she noticed one of cousin's flower barrettes fell off and one of her little twists came loose. Aunt told her to pick it up, she has bad knees, so as not to lose it. Cousin bent down to get it, and as soon as she stood up, the woman behind grabs her and she starts touching her hair. This total stranger put her hands on another stranger's child, especially a black woman's child. Yeah, her obituary would be in the works if it were my kid. When Aunt saw her, she hollered, "Get your freaking hands off my child." The woman stared at her wide-eyed and did not stop. "She's fine. Her hair is just so pretty. I couldn't resist the urge to touch it." And starts taking her earrings off. Wasn't her first fight. She said, "Lady, I don't know you, and I'm not above resisting the urge to touch you." She snatched the woman's hand away and threw it aside as it smacked into the conveyor belt. The woman cried out in pain while clutching her hand and yelled, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And tells her, "You don't put your hands on someone else's child. If I did this to your kid, you'd have me arrested." The woman looks at cousin who's on the verge of tears and says, "I bet your mean mommy beats you at home, doesn't she? You're probably being abused. I can take you away from that pain, baby." Cousin began to step back from that woman, smelling the crazy on her, and this brat quickly grabbed her arm by force. Cousin shrieks and Aunt backhands the woman clean across the face. The woman just gasped, and she stared at her like she was crazy. To Aunt's credit, she was the right kind of crazy. The kind you don't want to mess with when it comes to her cups. Aunt didn't know if someone called a manager or security or if they were already coming, but they did, and the 2 security men restrained my aunt. She's no small lady. The woman immediately started sobbing and told him, "Arrest this psycho. She assaulted me when all I did was say her daughter's hair was pretty." And said, "You put your hands on my baby. You're lucky I'm not whooping your butt up and down these aisles." The cashier and some shoppers vouched for her, saying she didn't know the woman who just started touching cousin's hair for no reason. The manager told one of the security guards to stay with the woman while he, Aunt, and the other guard went to his office. My aunt told him everything that happened before they checked the CCTV. Everything from the woman touching cousin's hair to Auntie slapping the taste out of her mouth when she tried to grab cousin by force. Everything Aunt told him was caught on video. The manager asked if cousin was okay and she said yes. She was just scared for the other woman because she thought her mom was going to, and I quote, "beat the white off that woman and curb stomp her." This made the security guy laugh. He was a black man with a daughter himself and agreed that his wife would have done the same thing. They went back to the woman and told her that the aunt was acting out of self-defense for her child. The manager told her that because she grabbed a little girl by force, she was on the hook for first-degree kidnapping charges. This is when the woman started fuming and shouted, "It's not my fault this skin pigment-related slur is a horrible mother." And there it was, the infamous word that ended Paula Deen's career and made Dave Chappelle a household name. The manager, the security guards, the shoppers, and saw a lot of dropped jaws and heard a lot of shocked gasps. The woman realized what she said and sputtered trying to save face. The manager promptly told her to shut up and asked Aunt if she wanted to press charges, and she said hell yeah. The security guard who waited with the woman slapped some lovely silver bracelets to go with her outfit and escorted her out of the store. She was charged for the attempted kidnapping and hate speech. Aunt's $40 purchase was comped, and they went home. No matter how sweet cousin makes her gingerbread house, I'm sure the justice she and Aunt got today was even sweeter. Hey everyone, I need your input on a situation that's been bothering me lately. It's about my ex-husband and our 9-year-old daughter. We usually get along pretty well, but there is one thing that's causing tension between us. Well, his lack of communication. First off, let me give you some background. I'm 32 years old and we've been divorced for about 5 years now. We share custody of our daughter on a mostly 50-50 basis, with me having her for a few extra days each month due to my ex's fly-in, fly-out work schedule. So far, so good, right? Well, here is where the issue starts. The problem areas are twofold: his lack of communication and his poor nutrition choices for our daughter. But we won't delve into that in this story. Since our divorce, he's consistently forgotten to communicate when he needs me to take our daughter early or on days when it's typically his week with her. I've tried addressing this with him multiple times, asking him to give me more notice when he needs me to take her, but each time he's failed to do so. Let me give you an example. Recently, we were on the phone and he casually mentioned, "You know you're taking her for 3 weeks starting tomorrow, right?" I did not know. He briefly mentioned thinking about taking a vacation in September back in April, never specified the date, and never brought it up again. Now, I'm a planner. I had appointments booked for my week without her, and even an overnight trip planned. Frustrated with his habitual disregard for my time, I decided not to take her for those 3 weeks. My reasoning was simple: if I keep bending over backward for him, he will never change his ways. I'm a passive person by nature, and he knows this, so I felt it was time to stand up for myself. Well, let me tell you, he got extremely upset. He declared that he could no longer count on me for anything and that he wouldn't help me out when I needed him to take our daughter. The irony here is that he's never taken her from me on his days off or helped out in any way when I needed it. So his threats didn't affect me much, to be honest. He claims he had to cancel his vacation and wasted $1,000 because he couldn't find childcare for his week with her. I can understand his frustration about canceling his vacation, but he doesn't seem to grasp my frustration with his lack of communication. Since then, he's been cold towards me. So now I am left wondering, am I the jerk in the situation? Did I make the wrong call by refusing to take my own daughter when he didn't communicate his plans properly? I'd appreciate your input because I'm feeling quite conflicted about it. Let's rewind a bit and dig deeper into the conversation we had when he dropped the bomb about those 3 weeks. Here is how it went. "Hey, you know you're taking her for 3 weeks as of tomorrow, right?" Me, taken aback. "What? 3 weeks? No, I had no idea. You never told me about this." "Oh yeah, I mentioned it in April, I think. I was thinking about taking a vacation in September." Me, frustrated. "You mentioned it once in passing, never gave me specific dates and never brought it up again. I've had plans for my week without her." "Well, I cancelled my vacation now because I have no childcare." Honestly, I understand his frustration with cancelling his vacation. He, on the other hand, does not understand my frustrations with his lack of communication and has been cold with me since then. Am I the jerk? And now some comments on the post. Someone saying, "You're not the jerk. I would insist on all of the childcare planning to be written out in either text or email from here forward." Another commenter adds, "How else is he going to change his ways if you keep letting this slide?" And as another commenter says, "Everything is written well in advance, be it a month or 3, or we have no agreement." A third commenter goes with, "You put up with far too much of this nonsense already. From now on, set a strict boundary on how much notice he has to give you and do not bend on it. He's disrespecting you on a regular basis and frankly, it seems like a power play. Stop stop letting him get away with it. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.